Okay, so you're here with us because you want to cut through all the clutter, right? You want to like get to the heart of the stuff you're interested in without having to spend hours and hours reading.
Exactly.
So that's what we do here, right? We deep dive into things.
We do.
And for this one, we're focusing on something that I think is really close to the heart of anyone who loves to read.
Yeah.
A dedicated journal for your reading life.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to be looking at information from Listallion Notebooks.
Okay.
They're designed specifically for book lovers.
Right. Those guys, they get it.
Yeah, so they do.
They understand that there's something about like really wanting to hold on to those thoughts you get when you read something great.
Absolutely. And, we know that you're someone who, appreciates really like engaging with what you read.
You're not just skimming.
Yeah, you're not just skimming. You're really thinking about it.
And we're going to look at how journaling can like really just make that experience even better.
Yeah.
And Listallion's approach to their notebooks is a great way to kind of look at this whole thing.
For sure, for sure. So Listallion offers a bunch of different journals. Like they've got soft cover ones like that Airy Joie Ash Gray Black that's usually around $24.95.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And then they've got hardcover versions too, like the A5 hardcover journal notebook, black faux leather. I think those sometimes go on sale for like $22.95 or even $19.95.
A good deal.
Yeah. So they've got a whole variety of colors and bindings.
They know that people like choice.
They do. They get it.
They get it.
What we really want to get into today is the fundamental question. Like, why even have a whole notebook just for your reading?
Right. Why bother?
Yeah. So our mission today is to understand how a journal, especially one with features that are made for people who love books, how can that really deepen your connection to literature?
Well, let's just imagine. Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine a book
Yeah.
that just completely like captivates you.
Mm-hmm.
It sparks all these thoughts and emotions. Maybe it even changes your perspective a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A dedicated journal. And Listallion gets this, it becomes like the central place for all of that.
Oh, I like that.
You can keep track of your intellectual and emotional journey through the books you read.
Why? Yeah.
You can revisit, the parts that really had an impact on you, and you can organize your evolving understanding, as you go.
Right, because you're changing as you read more and more, right?
Exactly. And for you, as someone who values knowledge, this is like a super powerful tool for remembering and reflecting.
Yeah, that's huge. I love that idea, like a central repository.
Yeah.
It's not just like jotting down random thoughts here and there.
No.
It's like really intentionally building something tangible, a record of your life as a reader.
I love that. A record of your life as a reader.
Yeah. And Listallion gets this, they really emphasize how writing about books enhances that connection with the material.
Yeah.
It's not just about like, oh, what happened in the plot.
Right.
It's about how it made you feel, the ideas that it sparked for you.
It's personal.
It's super personal.
It is.
And, we live in this increasingly digital world.
We are surrounded.
So there's something really satisfying about having this like physical space.
Yeah, that analog space just for you.
Yeah, for those personal reflections.
Yeah. And when you actually physically write something, it engages different parts of your brain.
It does.
It encourages a slower, more deliberate process of thinking.
I can see that.
And Listallion's journals, with the way they've designed them, they really get that.
They do. They do.
And the organizational aspect they've built in is key too, especially for someone like you who values efficiency. It's not just about getting those fleeting thoughts down.
Right.
It's about having a system to manage your reading. Keeping track of what you want to read, what you've finished your thoughts on specific author genres.
That's so key. It's like a whole system for your reading life.
It is.
Which brings us to, what makes a journal truly useful for a book lover. Like,
right.
It's not just any old notebook.
No. You can't just slap some pages together.
Listallion, they talk about the importance of quality.
And for good reason.
For good reason. If you're going to invest your time and thoughts into this,
right,
you want a journal that's going to last and actually make writing in it enjoyable.
Absolutely. And that's where the specific features of a journal, like the ones Listallion makes, come in.
Okay, tell me more.
So they use this thick 120 GSM wood-free ivory paper.
Okay.
Now, what that means for you is that it's a much smoother writing surface. It makes journaling more pleasurable.
I can imagine, yeah.
And importantly, that heavier paperweight, it means that ink doesn't bleed through as much. So whether you like a ballpoint pen, a gel pen, even a fountain pen,
Oh, wow.
your notes are going to stay clear and distinct.
That's great for people with fountain pens.
It is.
Because they're always worried about that bleed through.
Yeah, it shows that they're really thinking about the person who's using it. you know?
It does.
They've thought about the experience.
And, that's such a good point about the paper, because
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than seeing, like, the ghost of what you wrote on the previous page.
Oh, it's so distracting.
It's so distracting. So distracting.
It is.
So Listallion, they also include 211 numbered pages in their journals.
I love numbered pages.
Yeah, and, for you, as someone who appreciates structure, this, like, simple feature is actually really powerful for organization.
It really is. Those numbered pages are the foundation for what Listallion calls, and they're right, a game changer, a built-in table of contents.
Oh, wow.
So think about it from your perspective.
Okay.
You're reading a complex history book, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this one argument or piece of evidence that just really grabs you, you know?
Yeah.
So you make a note about it, maybe write down some reflections, and you put it on a specific page.
Right.
Months later, you want to go back to that insight.
Okay, yeah.
With numbered pages and a table of contents, you can find your notes so quickly.
You don't have to flip through the whole thing?
Exactly. You don't have to leaf through the whole journal. You could organize it by historical period,
Right.
by the author's main points, or however you think you know.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Whatever works for you.
It's like you're creating your own personal index to all this knowledge you're taking in.
I love that. Yeah, it's your own little database.
And, besides the paper quality and the numbered pages, Listallion, they include these practical features like a back pocket.
Oh, yeah. I love a back pocket.
For someone like you who's probably always coming across interesting articles or getting recommendations, that little pocket is perfect for stashing things like bookstore receipts
Oh, yeah.
or a quote that you jotted down or any other little thing that connects to your reading.
Those little details, they can really make your journaling experience so much richer over time, you know?
They really can. They really can.
And we can't forget about the cover.
The cover's important.
Listallion offers premium faux leather soft cover and those really durable hardcover options.
Yeah, and it's not just about looking good, right? A good cover protects your journal. It makes sure your thoughts are safe, even if you're using it all the time.
It's an investment.
It really is.
They're thinking about longevity and value.
It's funny you talking about how useful organized book journaling can be. It reminds me of my friend Mark.
Okay.
He is so smart, always reading tons of nonfiction, but his notes were a mess.
Oh, no.
I mean, he had highlights in books, notes scattered in digital files, even voice memos that he'd forgotten all about.
Oh, I've been there.
It was like having this massive library, but no way to find anything.
Oh, that's frustrating.
So frustrating. And then about a year ago, he started using a Listallion journal.
Okay.
He loved the numbered pages and the idea of making a table of contents. So he started logging his key takeaways from each chapter. He was writing down connections between different books, even outlining potential research topics, that came up as he was reading.
That's a great system.
It is. And he told me it totally changed how he felt about the material. Yeah, he felt more in control of the information. His understanding got deeper, and he could actually build on what he was learning way more effectively.
It's not just passively reading anymore. It's like he's interacting with the knowledge.
Exactly. And that's such a good example of how intentional journaling, especially with a well-designed notebook like a Listallion, can really empower your learning process.
Yeah, it shows you some practical ways that you can use a journal for your own book tracking.
Okay, so how would you suggest someone start?
Well, like we were talking about with those numbered pages, start with that table of contents that's crucial.
Okay.
And you can create sections for whatever interests you, maybe key arguments from nonfiction books, character analyses for novels, whatever fits your style.
And it doesn't have to be this big, long thing after every chapter.
No, not at all.
It could be as simple as just writing down 2 or 3 of the most important ideas from a reading session or a quote that really stood out to you.
Exactly. And don't forget to note the page number.
Right. And Listallion gives you 211 pages, so you got plenty of space.
Plenty of space.
To develop those thoughts over time without feeling like you're going to run out of room.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You could even dedicate a couple pages at the beginning to list the books read this year.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just a simple way to see your progress.
Yeah, I like that.
These methods, they can really transform reading into something more active and rewarding.
It makes you feel like you're really getting something out of it.
It does. And Listallion suggests, this can also make your book club discussions so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being able to just flip to your notes and bring up a specific passage.
Oh, you'd be the star.
Right. It just adds so much depth to the conversation.
Now, I know for someone like you who's probably got a million things going on.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Adding another thing to your to-do list might seem a little overwhelming.
I get it.
And Listallion acknowledges that people might feel like they just don't have time to journal consistently.
That's a common concern.
Yeah. So what strategies do you recommend for overcoming that?
Well, that lack of time thing, it's often more about perception than reality.
Okay.
Like Listallion shows us with their notebooks, it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment.
Okay, good.
Even just a few minutes after you finish reading to jot down your initial thoughts.
Okay.
It can be so valuable, it helps solidify what you just read.
Yeah.
And remember, consistency, even in small chunks, is way more effective than these like big sporadic entries.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about making it part of your routine rather than adding this whole other thing.
Exactly.
Maybe for you, it could be the last thing you do before you put a book down for the night.
Perfect.
And what about that feeling that your journal entries had to be like super profound?
Oh, yeah. The blank page can be intimidating.
It can be so intimidating.
It can.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, it's important to remember, and this is something that Listallion kind of hints at with their designs, that this journal is for you.
It's personal.
It's personal. There's no pressure to write perfectly or come up with groundbreaking analysis every time.
Right.
Just get your honest thoughts and reactions down.
It's for you.
Yeah. Embrace the imperfections. They're part of your journey with the book.
That's such a good point. And, this is where I think the features of a well-made journal, like the ones Listallion makes, they can actually be really motivating.
Really?
Yeah, like the feel of that smooth paper, the way it's organized.
It makes it feel less like a chore and more like a natural part of reading.
It does.
If the tool itself is enjoyable to use, you're more likely to actually use it.
You're more likely to pick it up and write in it.
For sure.
And, the benefits, they go beyond just remembering things and being organized.
They do.
Like Listallion seems to understand, when they create this space for thoughtful engagement, reflecting on the themes and ideas in books, can give you new perspectives on your own life.
Oh, yeah.
Like actively processing what you're reading instead of just passively taking it in.
Exactly.
I've actually experienced this myself. When I go back and read old journal entries about books I read years ago, I often understand them in a whole new way.
It's like a time capsule.
It is. It's like a dialogue with your past self.
I love that.
And I can see how regularly engaging with these ideas, like a dedicated journal encourages you to do, could make you more grateful and mindful.
For sure.
You're taking the time to really appreciate the impact of what you're reading.
Yeah, and it becomes a creative outlet, too. Your journal, it's like a safe space to explore your own interpretations, to wrestle with complicated ideas, and let your thoughts develop naturally, inspired by the books you're reading.
So it's more than just a place to keep track of books.
It's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool for deeper understanding, personal reflection, and a richer experience with literature.
If you're thinking about taking your reading to a whole new level, exploring a journal designed for book lovers like the ones from Listallion could be a really smart move.
Okay, so let's sum it all up for you.
Okay.
We've explored how a dedicated journal, especially one with features like high-quality paper-numbered pages, a built-in table of contents, and a durable cover.
The stuff Listallion really focuses on,
Exactly.
it can really enhance your reading life. It helps you stay organized, encourages you to think more deeply about what you read, and ultimately helps you connect with those books on a deeper level.
And here's a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
Think about the books that have really had an impact on you, the ones that changed the way you think or made you feel something profound. Now imagine if you had journaled about those books as you were reading them.
Oh, wow.
How might that have changed things? Would your insights have been even stronger? Would you have made even more personal discoveries? Would those experiences be even more lasting and meaningful for you?
That's something to think about.
It's an invitation to go beyond just reading and to actively participate in your own intellectual and emotional journey through literature.
I love that.
I do too.
I think that's a perfect place to end.
It is.
So until next time, happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
Bye.